We're going to have an open forum at a portion of our meeting tonight. Could we have a volunteer to be the moderator for our open forum? Okay, I see Amar raising your hand. All right, we've got a repeat volunteer. You know what happens when you repeat volunteer, man?
It's your job.
All right.
People get to throw stones at me.
Yeah, you don't need to come up at the start, but when we get to the open forum. Thank you. All right. Are there any other housekeeping items that anyone has? Just like about the building, about chairs? Yeah. Brian, did you have a housekeeping item? No. Does anyone have any housekeeping items? Okay. Hearing none. Oh, I have one more. Marc Rauch, who was kind enough to video last time, and it was fairly successful. I've heard a lot of positive comments about that. He's also doing the same again tonight. Thank you, Marc. That's very helpful for transparency. And he's also, this time, set up a monitor just outside there for overflow, including a speaker. So I understand that you can see and you can hear. Thank you. All right, good deal. So it seems like that's going to be good for this meeting, which is very, very well attended. Thank you for coming. All right. Let's get started. My name is Craig Osborne. I'm a homeowner here in Anatolia, original purchaser of my home in 2006 with my wife and kids. I've lived here ever since, and I spend some of my time volunteering on the board of directors. This is a noticed meeting for a very, very, very important purpose: to select 2 additional directors so that we can partially fill out our board of directors to 3 from the current 1. This was not a preferred process. Many of you remember the option 1, option 2 discussion. There was a 94% response of people preferring the option 1, which was to put all the seats into election. Because of that, I was very, very concerned and unhappy about the prospect of having to make appointments. We have with us...
You will make appointments.
Yes, so we have with us our HOA attorney, and I wanted to make sure that it was clear to everyone that this is a mandate. There is no option that I have to do any other thing. So it was not my preference, but we're doing what we got to do to stay on the good side of the law and all the rules, because we need to do those things. So that's why we have this agenda item 4, and we're going to be going to that fairly quickly. By show of hands, who's here for the selection of directors, part of the agenda? Okay, a lot. Because of that, and because I have no idea how many people may want to be candidates, and we have no idea how long it might take to have the discussion, I'm going to forego the 1 and 2 on the agenda, which I had said at our last meeting I'd speak to those. I would like to speak to those, but let's put those on another day, and let's go straight in. So let's go to 3 and 4. Please be brief if you have an open forum item. Is there anyone who has an open forum item that is not related to selection of directors? Okay, I see one hand. And Amar, where did Amar go? Could you be our moderator here? This lady here had her hand up.
Perhaps I may have missed one of the meetings. I don't know if it was the meeting where there were 120 people here or there was one since then. But I'm a little bit unclear of how we're going to proceed forward with our financials, and I'm a big concern about that. One of my concerns is the pool repairs. I don't know which of those are routine maintenance and which of those are emergent and urgent, and whether or not they need to be done prior to being approved or at least being certified or looked at by the city to get a permit to open the pool up this summer. So I'd like to have some answers to that.
She has an excellent question, and I'd like to take a moment to answer that, because that's a question that has come up a lot.
It is only for recording.
It's not projecting his voice.
So maybe you need to speak louder.
Is it easier if I stand up?
Yes.
Are we still good on the audio if I continue? Okay, thank you. Okay, the lady's question had to do with financials and the pool and what's the issue, why was it closed, and will it open? Okay. I'll take those subjects in the order that you brought them up. The financial audit is proceeding. It is ongoing as we speak. It has been for several days. And as you've heard me say, and if you've looked in the law, you've seen it's due April 30th. So today's 25th. It's proceeding. We expect to have that audit very shortly. In terms of the pool, the pools were closed this past weekend. It was for a maintenance item that was raised shortly before. The maintenance item had to do with a weld on a gate. And the contractor that our clubhouse manager had contacted to come out and fix the weld changed their priority. We got the lower priority. We weren't able to get that scheduled correction to the gate on time. And because it is an important safety item, the clubhouse manager, and I supported her decision, made the decision to keep the gates closed for the weekend. That is a good decision for safety, obviously. It also deprives us as homeowners of something that we've been paying for, that we have every right to expect. So that's very unfortunate, and it is my hope and it is my plan that we will not have maintenance surprises like that as often in the future. But thank you for bringing that up. Information to that effect has been posted now on the front, and the weld person was scheduled for today, had an issue with the prior job that ran long, is now scheduled for tomorrow morning, and our expectation is that we will have our weld done tomorrow morning, and we should be able to open the pool, if all goes well, at that time.
So, hold on. So, Rachel, did you have your hand up? Okay. So. Yeah, but she was first.
Christine Mills, homeowner since 2006. This question is for Bruce. Was Uni, when she signed the contract on 2/6 of 2018, she was not a homeowner at that time, not on the deed. Is it legal, this contract that we have with Mr. Hayman? Since she was not a homeowner and she was to be voted back in on the 3/8 meeting.
I have advised the board that the board's vote 4-1 to retain, subject to approval, was sufficient, and we had a valid contract.
Okay, let's continue, but let's try to keep these as small in number as possible, because I know a lot of people are very interested in getting to our item 4.
Okay, Amber Seaman, I've been at Homer's, 2006.
Oh,
What was his answer? We couldn't hear.
Oh, that it,
Your
it
answer.
was valid.
It's all right.
It was valid.
go ahead.
Sorry, go
Okay,
ahead.
this is a follow-up to the question about the pool. I've read somewhere that that was caused by the damage was caused by people jumping over the fence and loosening that or something like that. And my question is, in the last budget, in the 2018 budget, there were a couple items budgeted for security, for clubhouse security. I assume inside, and I'm assuming outside also.
Like
Are
cameras,
there, are, do we have film of, how are we proceeding on, how do we know that that's what happened, and how are we proceeding as far as the security?
So I think your question comes down to spending priorities within the budget that we have. And those are absolutely decisions that the forthcoming board can and should and ought to be very heavily involved in. And I welcome everyone who might be considering running for the board tonight to take Amber's good question to heart as we make spending decisions.
so was nothing bought as far as security? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know whether the weld issue, I think is what you were starting on your beginning of your question, I don't know whether that weld issue was coming from a security issue or not.
Okay. Did you have a question? Did one of you raise your hands? No. So, yeah, no, ma'am.
Yes, I had another question, and again, is there still a discussion about reducing the HOA fees?
When you say
Or are
eight,
we going to wait until the financials are done? Well, I have a concern, I'm trying to do some math here, and I have been trying, and it hasn't come out to X equals Y. But, you know, we are low on our budget, or on our financials, on what we have to spend, obviously, because we canceled some contracts, we don't have the money. We are not able to do the repairs that initially were supposed to be done, right? All of this got canceled for many of reasons, and we don't want to get into it. But apparently, we don't
I'm not quite
have
sure I agree
enough
with that,
money
but go ahead.
in the budget to make all of those repairs and all of those improvements that have been talked about for quite a while. And then I hear that there was a suggestion made to decrease our HOA fees by $30 a month. Now, if any of you want to do the financials on that, times 2,000 homes, that's $60,000 a month. Times 2 years, that's 1.5 million. That's as much as the whole loan was going to cost to repair everything. So I have a concern that that's even being discussed. Is that still up there? I mean, if anything, maybe we should up the HOA fees, because I have to tell you, I've been through 2 HOAs, and this is the cheapest I've ever lived in, if you don't know that. But, I mean, this is like super cheap. This is like give it away kind of stuff. If we don't, I mean, no, you know, I'm sorry, but my last one was $320 a month. So, you know, take that to the bank. But if we
So-
don't have the money, I do know, and I believe it's in the bylaws, that you can impose an assessment fee upon each homeowner if there are repairs that have to be done. And then we don't have a choice. And I can tell you from experience, I've paid a $5,000 assessment fee due in 90 days to my HOA in the past. So I want to make sure the homeowners who are listening here are very clear on the financials of what you can be imposed upon if we don't come up with the money to do the repairs necessary. And I think that's been lost in a lot of anger in the past couple of months or so. So please, make note of that when we're talking about the financials. Thank you so much.
okay, good points.
Ernest Taylor, I just wanted to thank you very much for bringing up that point, but I thought it'd be a good thing since last meeting, we went through a lot of different stuff, that we do a quick summary of where we are and what tonight's meeting is about. That's wonderful that we have this package, but that's a lot of stuff, and we summarize it and get to the point of we need to.
So, summary of kind of what this all means here? Is that what you're asking?
Well, summary of from last week, because our last meeting, we actually had some specific points of what we're gonna address tonight, and that was, we need to have 2 board members, if I'm correct, I'm sorry.
Bruce?
Bruce, we need 2 board members before we can do anything. We only have 1 active contract right now. So that's with the current management company. I mean, we can't do anything without 2 more board members, right?
There's very, very little, well, go,
Well, can we do anything without, I'm sorry, let me rephrase the question. Can we do anything with just 1 board member?
No.
Okay, so what's our next course of action? Maybe we should address that.
Are you good at that?
so as we've
Fast forward
heard,
to number 4.
as we heard a few minutes ago, there's little to nothing that I really have the ability to do right now, other than to appoint, and I say that word with gritted teeth, appoint 2 more. And that's really the main reason we're here tonight. So for people who haven't read over the start of this packet, I'd like to take Ernest's question really quickly. We are here, our main agenda item is number 4, the selection of directors, and that will be tonight. And my commitment to everyone here right now is I will do that with input. With input. I want to hear what everyone has to say. You may not all want to stay that late tonight. I don't know. I'll stay as late as people are here with giving input, because that really, really matters.
Going back to, excuse me, maybe speaking right into her ear. No, back to the financials. Craig, in regards to account receivables right now, do we have any idea how much receivables are sitting out there that we're waiting to receive?
Well, I guess we could answer that question, but I want to say I'm not in a situation of deep concern that there's, no.
not enough
Right.
money.
Maybe, Adam, could you speak to that a little bit, because you're very close to that situation?
Sure. There's one part of the receivable that I do want to ask Bruce about how much could be shared. But I can tell you, of the current members, I was surprised by the number that had a balance that carried forward from March 31st. This kind of current economic environment, we've seen most of our communities' delinquency reports clear up and reduce the amount that has been outstanding significantly. What I found when we received the beginning balances from your prior provider was that there was a large number of current homeowners, meaning that these aren't foreclosed upon lots. These are members who still hold title to their property that still had a balance due. Now, my first question was, well, gosh, I understand that you recently had to go through a lockbox transition. Perhaps this is relating to that lockbox transition. However, a good number of those go back beyond 90 days past due. So I did ask the prior provider for explanation because I didn't want to send statements out to a lot of members that there is a balance due on their account if there was a systemic issue with the numbers that were provided. And they did confirm with me that they appear to be consistent with what they expected. There's another significant part to the receivable, and I'd like to defer to council to see how much of that I can share publicly versus, yes.
Oh, it's a settlement agreement. It is technically an agreement that all members have a right to see.
Okay.
Totally.
So I'm aware of a settlement agreement. And in that agreement, the association, if the properties transfer to a third party before October.
Adam, can you stand up so
Sure.
we can hear you, please?
Sure.
If the properties relating to this settlement are transferred in October, before October, then the association is entitled to $550,000 relating to that settlement amount. If it goes on beyond that, the amount goes up to $750,000 to the association. And that's allowed, my understanding is for another year. Anything beyond that, the entire amount, does the settlement become void?
No, it's
Or-
a separate contract that would be enforced. So it would be a breach of contract of the settlement agreement, if that makes sense.
Okay. Beyond that, there may be an additional amount that could be collectible for the association. So there's a $200,000 jump there. Right now, the full amount is recorded as a receivable, and there is a partial allowance for doubtful accounts that is on the books for a part of that, not all of that.
And that is importantly it's going into the audit report that we will all receive and is scheduled for us all to receive in the next few days.
Please stand up when you talk, please, so it carries over to everybody.
Did anyone not hear what I just said? Okay, I see some hands. So the explanation that Adam is giving is about a topic that has been placed, I understand, into the audit report that is due on April 30th, that we will all receive, scheduled to be by April 30th.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, let's take a couple more, then we know.
If we should move on to the director's part of the meeting.
I would really like
Until we
to.
get directors, we
No, I
can't
have
handle.
I have a point, and I had my hand up, and he recognized me a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
My point is that this association with Anatolia, it's been problems from day one. It has been things that's supposed to have been implemented that help sell these properties from day one. Regarding the clubhouse, elementary schools, middle schools, and then also high schools, this, that, and the other, and then also shopping centers where people don't have to drive all the way back down to deep Folsom Boulevard to shop. That hasn't happened. Now what we're going through is we still paying $115. I don't know, that's what I pay. I don't know what any of these other people pay, but we're paying homeowners association for all this stuff, and then we have problems with the pool. We don't have the schools that we're supposed to have, and then on the top of that, if I want to have a bachelor party, I still have to pay regular rate to rent anything out of here. How's that benefiting the people that have financed this place? My concern is this. You're talking about X, Y, and Z. He's talking about numbers. We're talking about this and that. What about the people that already has invested, that has bought property and been here, living here, and raised their families here, this, that, and the other, and they're still paying these homeowner association fees, and they ain't got nothing to benefit for it? That's what I want to know about. What you guys are talking about, candidates or whatever, what I feel, you need to strip everybody that's in here, and I can tell you this, I am a federal employee. I am a union employee, and I can tell you something about politics, and I can tell you something about the structure of things. When you have to eliminate things, you have to get rid of people that is trying to do things the political way instead of the right way. You got to get people in here that's going to protect the people's investments and the people things that they're trying to pay for their children, for their safety, and for them to grow up in a community that is conducive for them. This is not the answer. You need people in here that's going to make sure that that happens. Okay? My question is, what are you guys going to do about that? Because at the end of the day, when it comes to religion, when it comes to schools, when it comes to the county, when it comes to the state or whatever, everything is political. And you know what that means is?
We talked about
The
that.
bigger thing, I'm not talking to you right now. The bigger thing is all about money.
We're going backwards.
If you're not going to protect the people that have invested,
We need to go
then you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to go anywhere. So that's why I'm saying, that's why she's protecting it. Oh, raise your hand, because you want to cover everything. That's what people are concerned about. If my grandchild can't even go to a pool that she can swim in safe and whatever, and you're still talking about homeowner association and changing a few candidates and nothing changes, what is that going to do for us? What is it going to do for us?
Ed, let me answer, please. Yeah.
You make excellent points. Please consider running for the board of directors tonight.
I don't have a problem with it, because obviously what y'all got is not working. There has to be a change.
I agree.
There has to be a change.
We agree.
Because
That's why we're here.
what I'm saying is people have invested their lives, their families, their children into this. Like I said, I know for a fact some of the things that's supposed to have been in place before I even bought my house 8 years ago never took place. That shopping center supposed to have been done years ago. Middle, whatever. Okay? Hey, I have a right to speak. I don't give a shit if I'm vexing people, whatever. I have a right to speak.
We have children present, please watch your language.
Ed, do you have a question though?
Yeah, what is the problem? Because maybe I'm saying that's probably the thing.
No.
Why would you? Okay, let's bring my children. So if somebody gets so out of whatever, I can blame it on my children. The bottom line is this: this is a place that people have been invested in. They said this is where they can raise their kids. This is where they can feel safe. 3 miles down the road, which I have been in Rancho Cordova for 30 years, I understand it. Capitalis is where I raised my kids, and it's a bad area. That's why I bought out here. So if people is saying that, hey, this is a safe haven, we can't get away from the crime and whatever, There's nothing wrong with those people, but the crime and stuff is bad. So what I'm saying is, I apologize if I'm offending anybody, but it is what it is. People bought here for a reason, and people should not be cheated. We got development on the other side of Douglas and on the side of Kiefer that don't even have a homeowners association. Well, we got it,
That's 5 minutes.
and we still chose that.
That's 5 minutes.
I got it. I want to thank you. I don't even know your name, but
My name is Alfred Allen. You want my address? You want to know how long I own my property here?
Guys, please, let me take this. I want to thank you, Mr. Allen, for coming and standing up and saying what so many of us have been feeling for so long. I really, really, completely agree with the points that you're making about how we have not been getting what we've been paying for a long, long time. Different reasons, we could have long conversations about reasons, but my concerns are exactly the same as yours, and I appreciate that you're coming tonight, having the courage to stand up, maybe not quite so loudly, but quite so long. But I appreciate that you're bringing your concerns. That's why
What's the
we're here.
difference, silence or loud?
Right.
If the point don't get across. My whole point is that's what we all get buried
Right.
behind. We
Right.
get buried behind politics. We get buried behind, it's like, if you're saying something, but it's a whisper. If you're saying something, it's loud. So what is the difference? So for you to make that statement, that's what it tells me, is that my whole point is this. Like I say, I work for the federal government. I'm also a union representative, but you know what? That gets caught up in politics. And it's all about who does this, who says this, who gives them, let's keep everybody happy.
There are a
So
lot
you
of
understand?
hands, I'm trying to keep track.
There are, but again, I want to reiterate, thank you for bringing those concerns. Many of us share those concerns, and let's leave here tonight with some solutions, some people who are willing to stand up and address the issues that Mr. Allen is bringing to us, because these are the real issues that we need to address.
Please, we want you to run the process,
So-
then we can give it.
I don't have much of a voice. I just happy that we're here, and I want to say that as far as what Mr. Haney spoke about, just because it's on the books, we don't have it yet. We don't know where that's going to go yet. So please don't anticipate, oh yeah, we have this money, what are we doing? We don't have that money yet. We're supposed to get the money. We don't know when it's coming. The part about the delinquencies, at a future meeting, hopefully I'd be interested in hiring our management company is gonna take care of that going forward, because that's terrible. Why do we have all these delinquencies in this economy right now? We should have been going after that money. That's money we could have had for these repairs right now. And further, I am looking forward to these audits and the financials coming out to them, to us, so we can see how much money do we actually have. Do we have enough to get these repairs done? Because everybody's been kind of in the dark about how much money we have. And maybe there is extra money for that and for some of the other things to make this community nicer. Because you're right, man, we're paying an HOA. We should have a nicer neighborhood than this. The people next to us should be like, man, we wish we would have bought in Anatolia. Right now, we're a laughingstock. Because half of these homes look like they're falling apart and everything's a mess and nobody knows where to go for help and you can't even put your HOA payment over here anymore. It's like, what is going on?
I work with several people, like I said, I work with the federal government, and they came to me and they asked me to come and get reservations for them to have their children's birthday parties and whatever parties or whatever, because they was in love with Anatolia. So I said, yeah, that's no problem. So I'll go in and I'll do this and that. So my point is, you're exactly right. My point is, we're doing things for other developments that's as new as ours, that don't have the equities that we have, but we're doing that for other people because of Anatolia. And the people say that is a great place and whatever, and this is how we're gonna be treated? That is BS. So now, I don't wanna offend any children here, that is BS.
And that's why we're here, because this don't change.
Let's move forward.
Okay,
Anshu.
so how many hands have already gone up?
So,
How many-
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, let's take those four and then let's move on.
You have questions?
My point, as I'm sure everybody else in the room, mostly, myself, I'm here to listen to candidate speeches. I want to know who they are, I want to move
Is that
forward.
your point?
I want to get a board figured
Can
out.
we move directly to that point?
I have so many questions. But the primary reason why I came here and the primary request from all the people that attended the last meeting was a meeting only for electing the board, not to listen to the problems. We can certainly have another meeting, but this meeting was specifically requested by
Yes.
My name's Jan Larson, and I've been here since 2004-05. This is some quite of information for the board and future meetings. I'm hoping we have this better turnout in our future board and how they conduct meetings here. But the lack of a communication or some sort of a amplification system in a room like this with all this background noise makes it very difficult for other people to hear. And I think by ADA law, you're required to have that for this type of a meeting, so I would suggest the board really look into that to make sure that that's available to people with hearing impairments.
So everyone running for the board, I heard that and I listened to that. Everyone else?
I'm volunteer for some sort of construction committee, that's what I'm interested in. I'm a building
All right.
inspector by trade.
So anybody else? I didn't see any other hands.
I'll waive mine.
So, same point here. So definitely we have a lot of things, and once we have the board or whatever temporary board, we'll listen to all those questions. And people might have to go home later. They cannot stay till 9:30, 10, 11. So can we please move on to the main process?
Let's do. Let's do.
Does everyone agree with you?
Okay. All right.
Plus, candidates also will have to come. They might take some time to represent themselves. So we'll need some time, and we'll all have to go home. Some children will leave.
Thank you. Okay, let's move to agenda item 4. Please notice the first page after the meeting notice. It has some yellow highlighting. The heading is Trustworthy Homeowners Sought for Anatolia's Board of Directors. For those who are considering running, I really hope that you've read this. There are some times that someone takes a role without realizing what they're getting into. Please realize what you're getting into. I won't read all these, but let me highlight a couple of ones. Please, you should ask owners their opinions and listen to what they tell you. You will need to read, be familiar with, use, and follow the Davis-Sterling Act, which you may not be familiar with now, our bylaws, our CC&Rs, and other documents. Some long documents, a lot of reading. You'll need to know these things. Be willing to listen to honest viewpoints that may differ from your own. Pretty obvious, but it's sometimes harder to do than it sounds. Be willing to be fingerprinted for our liquor license. Be willing to learn the rules, even crazy complex rules. You have no idea how crazy and how complex some of the rules are. And you won't get to say, I don't like that rule, so I'm not going to follow it. You got to learn it, you got to follow it, even if it takes you to places that you don't want to be. I can't tell you how many times just in the last few weeks I've been immensely frustrated because of some rules that I had to follow. I'm following them. And if you're not willing to do that, please be very careful whether you sign up for being a candidate for the board. Your pay, 0. And you get your pay doubled every month. If this scares you, please don't. If this excites you, you're as weird as I am. Okay, the next page is a statement of interest. If you're interested, please fill this out. It's okay to tear it out of your packet. It's okay if the corner gets torn off. This I would like you to share with others in the room, because even though by law it's a mandated decision that I'm going to have to make, what I want to know about you is not just what I think about you. I want to know what everyone in this room thinks about you. I want to know what he thinks about you. I want to know what she thinks about you. I want to know what he thinks about you. So please, fill this out. The process that we've designed for tonight is 2 pages back. I believe it's the last page. Process for agenda item 4. It's broken into 3 areas. Meet the candidates, input from all owners present, and decision. Could you erase that? Please. Meet the candidates, input from owners present, and then decision. I want to give everyone an opportunity to introduce yourselves. I want to give everyone else the opportunity, frankly, to talk about you. We're going to talk about you. And we're going to say the things that we like about you, And hopefully people in the room will have the courage to say something that I've got a little concern about you because of this, this, and this. Please don't take that the wrong way. This is not kindergarten, this is not a playground. This is some very important grown-up decision-making that needs to be done. If it is your opinion that what he said gives you a concern that he may not be acting in your best interest, you may not want to say that. It's time tonight to speak up. Tonight is the time for a lot of courage, because a lot of decisions are going to be coming down the line to make the changes that Mr. Allen is so carefully and articulately pointing out that need to be made. Please be careful whether you step up, and for everyone who's not stepping up, please be careful who you support and who you speak about supporting and who you speak about opposing. These are important decisions that affect us all for a long time.
Sheldon, you have something?
Yeah, no, just, we should.
Okay, we passed open forum though.
No, we should just tell, I just want to make sure everyone knows that whoever is running for the board, those are temporary positions.
I'm sorry, could you say that louder?
Whoever will be running for these positions, those will be temporary positions, and they can again, so just want to make sure everyone knows.
So Bruce, he's making the point that it's his understanding that whoever is appointed today is a temporary. My understanding is that in this part of the form where we asked people, are you willing to would you like to make any other promises to owners at this time? My understanding from our prior meeting, and could you confirm that for everyone in the room so we're all clear, what are the rules about the duration of these appointments?
Can you stand up, Bruce, please?
Yeah, stand up, please.
One of the two positions is not up for election, the other position would be.
Is it my understanding that, well, it is my understanding, is it correct, that if someone makes a commitment that they're only interested in serving for a certain period of time, that we can then put that seat into the election? My recollection from our meeting last week was, yes, there was a way to get all 5 seats up in this coming election.
If the person appointed elects to tender their resignation upon the most recent opportunity for election of their successor, fine. But read my lips.
What does that mean?
No new taxes concept. A promise made prior to becoming a board member is not an enforceable contract, as it were. So
Is there a way that we can tonight ensure that all 5 seats go into the election?
no. One of the people you pick has no legal obligation to volunteer to resign for
Okay.
that. So
Okay.
it's-
My understanding was a little different from our last meeting, so I'm glad we're clarifying this now. This is time to clarify. So I see a couple of hands, but let's hold on. So is my understanding correct that one of these appointments will go only till the election? The other of these 2 appointments is going to be up to that person to decide whether to resign or not?
Yes.
Recap, please.
Okay, so the last meeting that we had, just to be clear, it was stated that whoever was you selected, the 2,
Right.
that the condition was that they were to resign so that we can vote on that in November, to give us an opportunity to go through the whole election process. Now you're changing that tonight, is that because of further review? Because that was the understanding.
Mr. Osborne is obligated to appoint 2 people to the board.
I'm sorry, I missed the first part.
But Mr. Osborne is obligated to appoint 2
Right.
people to create a board. Once that board is constituted, one of those positions is automatically up for election. The question becomes, can you appoint somebody on the requirement that they take an action after they are appointed in which they have a fiduciary duty to make decisions in good faith, best interest, reasonable inquiry. And it's my position that requiring someone as a condition of becoming a board member, you must agree, following the appointment, that you will do X. is not a valid agreement or arrangement. And there would be certainly no legal cause of action that could be brought against that board member who says, you know what, I told you, Mr. Osborne, I would do that. I changed my mind. I'm going to ride it out. Now, of course, as we discovered earlier this year, there is a recall process that would be available to cause that position to be subject to recall. But the notion that as a condition of appointing you to the board, you must promise that you will tender a resignation to trigger your seat for election is not an enforceable agreement that the corporation has any ability to enforce.
So as a homeowner, I motion that whoever's on the board that gets elected tonight, that we start the recall tonight.
I mean, in a funny sort of way, that's actually technically true.
We fully vet these people with a 5-minute conversation about, here's my background, this is what I do. That's not enough time to fully vet these folks.
Right.
And in a true election process, it would take us 3 months.
So can I get a quick word in?
Yes. Please.
So the way I understood, yes, it may not be legally enforceable, but whoever gets appointed today, as a gentleman's promise, they want all promise to resign, right? That is what there is nothing legally that can be enforced, right?
So there is something legal. I just said a recall. We start the recall tonight.
If that person does not do it.
Okay, well, even whether they do it or not.
Okay.
They should start.
So, yes, so.
I mean, bottom line is,
Guys,
whoever's that's basically their integrity that we're pressing. So we're hoping that whoever's running and get appointed, they'll do the right thing, that's what we're all trying to do.
So to his point, please note, sort of in the center of the form, would you like to make any other promises to the owners at this time?
first thing is,
Well, to Philip's point, you know, you gotta decide who to trust.
Thank you very much. My name is Larry Oakley, and I was the one who, I think, introduced the concept of asking people from this community to step forward at this time of need and volunteer as an interim appointment. Bruce, he kind of painted a very scary scenario, kind of like worst case thing that could happen, that somebody here is, has nefarious reasons, no integrity, and they want to come in, and when time comes, that can happen. But if on this day today, you will say before us, your community, I will do this, I believe you. I don't know a lot of you personally, but if you tell us, hey, I will work this until November, when you can't voted in member, I'll give you, here's my resignation next week. I'll date it then. You can date it now. But please do not be fooled by what Bruce just laid here before you. The scare tactic that nothing can be enforced. Of course not. We're not asking to enforce anything legally on anyone. We're asking for your service and your integrity. So let's go forward. It is the best prescribed way to have an appointed position. So when November comes around, you got your thoroughbreds. You got your people who are going to be here for as long term. So please don't be scared.
All right, folks, move on.
Okay, let's go quickly, these two.
Let's move on.
Let's move on, Craig.
Go ahead, go.
Quickly. What positions are open? We have a president, vice president.
it's just board members.
I know that.
Well, let me-
but the rule of thumb, how much term each one has, can we write that on the board? Do we know these positions are that long?
Here's the answer. So after the two appointments, there will be 3 people up here in the front.
How about 5?
Well,
Do all 5. I mean, you gotta-
5 in November.
They may work out very well, and people volunteer to do this. I would suggest you do all 5 and get them all filled.
I think we can pass that discussion, but
We've got many people here.
Once the appointments are done tonight, there will be 3 people up here. And Bruce has advised me that it is a good idea that once there are 3 of us here, that we select what's called officers of the board. If you look on the page, this next to last page, the board can have up to 4 officers, president, vice president, secretary, and chief financial officer. So, per the advice that I've been given, once the appointments are made tonight, the 3 of us will select who among us, the 3 of us, it's a decision that has to be made by the 3, who among us is going to be each of these. Obviously, there are 4 roles. The one that makes the most sense to not fill is vice president. So one person would be president, one would be secretary, and one would be chief financial officer. But that selection will be made by the 3 people tonight after the 2 are brought up.
Yeah, I hear everyone getting frustrated about it. Let's just go with the process. Once the board members get elected, just do a motion to say that they resign and it's on the list. So it's pretty simple. So you'll find out immediately.
Okay, I have a question, because if you look at the bylaws, in section 7.3, it specifically states in here that our board members are supposed to be staggered terms. How are we gonna get staggered terms? And each term is to serve for 3 years.
No problem.
After the first one.
Procedurally, the process to allow for staggered terms when you have a 5-person swing would be typically the 2 board positions that get the least number of votes have the shortest term, and the 3 with the longest have the longest term. So we do a 3-2. We would go back to a 3-2. Essentially, those 2 would be elected to fill the seats that would have been normally up in the cycle.
But this calls for 2 at 3 years, 2 at 2 years, and 1 at 1 year.
Initial.
But we're back to initial, because we basically don't have a board.
We aren't at initial. We will have a new board, and we will continue forward.
Okay. Thank you for the question.
Will we revert back to this, though?
No.
I'm sorry?
Will we revert back to this and have somebody there for a year, 2 people for 2 years?
I think we're hearing what Bruce is saying, which
He
is...
said 3 and 2.
Oh, I'll coordinate it with, the bylaws. As a practical matter, we will ultimately revert back to a staggered term process.
Okay. So, are we done with the...
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mark, for moderating. So, we're now here. This is the process. I anticipate there may be some objections at some point later tonight to what the process says. I would like us to clear any possible objections to the process before we start it. Is there anyone in the room who has any objections to this process? Please speak now if you do.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Does anyone in the room have any objections to this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 process? If you have an objection, please say so now. This is your opportunity.
In regards to the election and the whole process?
Tonight. Just tonight.
I'm going to allow 30 seconds for people to read and become comfortable.
Could
you stand up, please?
Could you tell us what your background is?
Yeah.
We're not electing Craig.
People a chance.
We're not electing Craig.
Yeah.
He's here.
We need to move forward, you guys. Keep going backwards.
Okay, so you have just one minute.
No more questions, no more questions.
Okay. Now, everyone's had an opportunity to read this. I'm asking now very carefully and very clearly, does anyone have any objection to this process to be followed tonight?
Let's go.
Okay, given that there are no objections, can everyone please remember that this process had no objections? And if 30 minutes, 45 minutes from now, someone says, why are we doing it that way? This is why we're doing it this way. Okay, thank you. All right, meet the candidates. If you're interested in joining the board of directors tonight, please, number 1, read completely that part of the handout. Number 2, complete the statement of interest. Number 3, ask the front desk to make a copy. Let's pause now. Anyone who would like to do this, ask the front desk to make a copy so that you got a copy. We'll pause.
No, that's right, it's right
Hey,
there.
Alfred. Oh,
And the copy
sorry.
fill out and turn in, I guess. Make a copy of this.
Yes, I do. I'm ready.
Sherry.
I'm Christine.
Sherry, whoever is most on
Oh, Sherry, she's not here. I think she's sick. Sherry Campbell or something? Yeah. She's got a lot of So does Christy. O'Brien, yeah. Remember that name.
I so appreciate you standing up against everybody else, you know, and doing it the right way.
But I can see
Thanks for coming, Tom.
Exactly. Yeah. I said. जोर से पूछो कि इलेक्शन कैसे होगा तो वो मतलब वोटिंग कैसे होगा हाँ वो तो बताया नहीं उसने धीरे से नहीं जोर से पूछना पड़ेगा
Oh, okay, so you will listen to the inputs and then you will make your decision.
All right. Any forms for me?
So good turnout.
Any forms?
Any forms? Any forms?
Folks, this might be a good time to use the rest. Prove to everyone that you understand process by following the process. If you read it carefully, it doesn't say, leave your paper on a table somewhere.
But did you know the machine is jammed?
I do, and they're working. We're good.
We can make copies again.
All right, machine's good.
Just make sure to take the staple out of it so there's no staple on the actual form. I think that's what Jen did the first time. So if there's no staple, we're good to go.
Thank you.
5,
Thank you, sir.
6. You have some more? 6 here.
People should not give them to you. Give those back to those people. Give them back to those people. We're here proving that we can understand process.
Do you have one in your hand? Or maybe Craig has one in his. No, there is. Thank you, Amar. Sorry. I apologize.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, we closed it.
Charlotte?
Yeah, this is run for the board, so I got to hand this to Craig.
One at random, and we're going to write them up in as random as possible order we can. And then I'm going to ask if there's anyone who thinks that they gave a form, thinks they're running, and doesn't see their name, so that we're not missing anybody. So, take one. It's fixed. Ms. Hambrick, you're still keeping an eye on our numbers, right? So we need to not exceed our capacity.
And he has more than
Well, that's just for this. This is for within this. Mr. Allen, could you come here for a sec? Thank you.
So you have a seating, so you have 107 in here. I'm a building inspector.
Okay, could you stand here and explain that to everyone? I do want you to say that. Hold on a second. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead. Let people know. Folks, your name?
Dan Larson.
Dan Larson. Yes. Folks, Mr. Larson has something helpful to tell us. Folks, Mr. Larson has something helpful to tell us.
As a building inspector for the County of Sacramento and also for the Rancho Cordova Building Department,
Loud and slow. Loud and slow.
The size of this building would allow 107 people in here for the purpose of meeting. The occuload factor up there is based for dining at 15 person square foot per person, so we're okay as far as we're on 107.
107? So folks, hey folks, this is an example of someone stepping forward and using the knowledge and the skills that they have from his occupation, bringing those skills to us, to all of us as homeowners, to help us be the neighborhood that we all want. Thank you, Mr. Larson.
Should they step away? I don't know if the question is going to be asked.
We're going to ask. We're going to ask.
Okay.
Okay. So I see 11 names. Christine has very kindly taken, or we gave her the forms in a random order selected by, I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Ed selected the forms out of my hand in random order, like in a card trick. It's not a card trick. And gave them to Christine. Christine wrote them down. I see 11 names. I'm going to read them. I apologize if I mispronounce your name. I want to get everyone's name right. Christy O'Brien, Gary Brewer, Willie Marshall, Lionel Galloway, Marc Rauch, Amar Hariharan, Rachel Escamilla, Shailendra Sharma, Deborah Payne, Alfred Allen, Philip Ditch. That's 11 names. Is there anyone who is interested in running for this board tonight whose name I did not just call in those 11? Now is your chance to speak up. Okay. Congratulations, we're partway through the process. Following along. Here's someone stepping up to do a very simple task, and she's standing up to do it. Thank you, Kathleen. All right, everyone, if you go over 5 minutes, you're at her mercy. Okay, by show of hands, I'm going to ask if people want to go in this order because it's random, or do people want to go on some other random order? By show of hands. There we go. Christy O'Brien, you have 5 minutes.
You gonna stand here?
Yes, sir.
This isn't like the primaries or something, right? Okay. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. For my 5 minutes. Okay. My name is Christy O'Brien. I have lived in Anatolia since 2006 with my husband. We have 2 children. I'm also a mother of several stepchildren, so I've lived here for a very long time. Actually, my oldest stepdaughter went to Pleasant Grove when there was still just a junior class. So, in 3 buses, 3 kids to a seat. So I've kind of seen this community blossom in a way since I've been here since 2006. Also, in 2006, my husband and I started a Taekwondo program here in the clubhouse. We started at 2 days a week. We went to 3 days a week due to the kids and the parents that were involved. We ended up at 7 days a week. We had 90 people coming in and out of our classes here because it's what the community wanted. And so we outgrew the space. We have a space of our own now, and we still teach classes here at the clubhouse for the residents who live here. Other than that, because I do help my husband run our small business, other than that, I've been a financial analyst at Apple. I'm doing logistics finance. I'm currently a lead financial analyst at Blue Shield and markets finance. So I'm very well versed in all of the accounting and financial features of the business side. As far as other qualifications, I consider myself to be an extremely ethical person. I have no problem resigning at the given time for elections with the opportunity to rerun if so elected, if I do good at my job. But I have no problem resigning whatsoever, and I'll write that down.
Would you like to read it? Do you have your copy with you? So,
I don't.
okay.
The copy machine was broken.
Is this the only copy?
Yes, sir. I'll hash.
Would you like to read whatever promise you'd like to make?
Yes, I would. I am going to promise to everybody that's sitting here that I am going to resign at the time of the election with the opportunity to run again. Plus, I am going to promise that if chosen, that I will address any and all issues that we're currently facing immediately without putting those to neglect, because I think a lot of us need a lot of answers and we need them now, immediately. And so I'm here to help propose solutions, not create additional issues, but I think that we all deserve what we've been paying for. Like Craig's keyword has said, I feel like I should be getting a lot more than what I've been paying for since 2006 in this building. But as far as the biggest challenge, personally, my biggest challenge, I feel like, is this agreement that we're in. It's nothing personal. I don't know consortium. I don't know anything about them. I've just read through the legalese thing. Owning a business and some of the liability issues just through the legalese scare me personally. I don't want to have co-employees. I want someone to employ the people that are here. I want them to be responsible for their competence and not me be responsible for their competence, which is clearly written in their agreement. So I think that there's a lot of verbiage issues. I'm not saying that my option is to kick them out. I think that we should look at all of our options and figure out who's going to offer the best solution for what we need as homeowners. And then that's how I think that we should move forward, is based off of what we need, not off what's a quick fix. So.
Thank you, Christine. Gary Brewer, you have 5 minutes. Folks, if you would bring your copy of the form and make sure that you read the promise section so that everyone can hear your promise, if you choose to make any.
Hi, I'm Gary Brewer, and I need your help to make Anatolia great again. Okay. Don't laugh away my 5 minutes, okay? Like most of you, my wife and I have paid over $10,000 in dues over recent years. We've lived in Anatolia since 2008, and if appointed, my first official act will be to quit. I have prepared and signed my resignation to hand to Craig if I wind up with that appointment. And I'll just leave it there, and you can shred it if I don't get it, if I don't get appointed. So after the recent kerfuffle that we've had with the old board, I agree that it's extremely important that the community have a chance to elect all the directors at the next meeting. And so assuming that if I were to be appointed to the longer term seat, I'm out of here. I want you to know that I have very thick skin. If you want to hurt my feelings, you're going to have to try very hard, and even then it might not work. If you disagree with me on something, even if you're not kind, I promise to still respect you and treat you with respect. I may not respect you, but I'll treat you with respect. My career experience, I think, fits pretty well with something that would come in handy here. Over the past 40 years, I've worked in finance and accounting. Got my bachelor's degree in accounting 40 years ago, and subsequently my CPA certificate. For the past 18 years, I've worked in nonprofit associations, business associations, not homeowners associations, but there are a lot of similarities. And for the past 10 years, I've been responsible for attending organizational board meetings, making financial reports, and giving financial advice to boards of directors, as well as to the CEO of the organizations that I've been working for. So, my promises: I promise to work hard to understand the issues that come before the board before supporting or opposing any major action. I promise that I will do everything I can to hold the management company accountable for doing their job. I promise that not everybody is going to be happy, whether it's me or somebody else. Some of you are not going to be happy. I'm sorry about that. And finally, I promise to donate 100% of my board salary back to the HOA.
Before you sit down, hey folks, I think it's really important that if someone has something in writing on this, that everyone have the opportunity to hear it. Thank you for making the promises that you did make, but I didn't hear the one that's here, so sorry about that. The promise was that I would resign to open the seat for the next election, and maybe you're thinking of the next section down. What's the biggest challenge facing? No, just the promise.
Okay, yeah, that I will resign to open this seat for the next election. Okay.
Willie Marshall, you have 5 minutes.
I'm Willie Marshall. We came here to Anatolia in '08. I was perfectly happy to sit at my house and just enjoy my home. I was still working, so I didn't participate in the meetings, and I'm sorry I didn't do that. But when I did retire, I'm here. And what I've been hearing, I was not happy with. Okay, my background. I am management trained. I was a retail manager in Alabama when I came out here, and I got into retail management while I was here. And then we're military, so we get to travel. I've been a budget analyst. I've been an inventory management specialist. I've been a contract specialist out at Sacramento Army Depot. While I was a budget analyst, I worked for the 142nd Supply and Service Headquarters USAFE. I carry with me a top secret clearance. I've been fingerprinted. I've been background checked. And I'm a manager. I had a district. I had all of the European theater when I was there. I had a district. When I started on the job, I'm going too slow. We were not able to collect our money. So we were 25% error ratio, and I needed to get it down to 5. When I left, my people that I work with got it down to 1.5. I received an SS, a Sustained Superior Performance Award for their works, because they were doing the work. I was just giving them the power to do it. I'm an organizer, and I pay very close attention to detail. I will work with you, and anything you need to know, if I'm on this board, just ask me, because I will tell you directly. I'm straight. I'm very direct. I don't have any secrets. So you can say anything you want to me. You will know it because that's who I am. I have when I worked at the commissary as an inventory management specialist, that was the largest commissary in Europe. God has blessed me by traveling back and forth overseas. I've been overseas 3 times to Germany, and each time I got a better job. And I can help. This place need help. It's too much going wrong here. It doesn't make sense. But I have to give it one thing. This has brought us all together. Now we know each other. We were speaking to each other in the beginning, but now we recognize each other. I want to know, I'm a person, I want to follow the money. And how come this place has gone down? With as many of us here, there's no reason for this building to look like this. There's no reason for us to not to know what happened to the curtains, where the furniture that's broken. We've been paying money for this, and nothing has happened. If I am elected, I will work with you and all of you in order to correct all this. This is our house. We should know what's going on. We should feel free to come up here at any time and say, you know what? Let me volunteer. I want to plant flowers in the flower box. I have plans. Yes, I do have plans. I have plans for us to have a spring cleaning. When all of us can volunteer, we do it in our churches. Why can't we do it with our clubhouse? And we come up here and we get this place, and maybe we have a group that want to just take care of flower beds. Maybe we have a group that want to make sure that we need the furniture that we have. The frames are great, but they need repair. And we've been paying money to have that done, and it's not done. I'm saying, if elected, you can count on me to work for you, because I'll be working for me. Thank you.
Really, thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, there isn't one. There isn't one.
Oh, I just promised that I promise you transparency, organization, and proper management.
All right. All right. Lionel Galloway, you got 5 minutes.
All right.
Oh, yes, and I will. You can count on me to resign. I will resign. At the end of this term, when you have another election, you can I guarantee you that my resignation is in the mail.
All
okay.
Right.
Oh,
all right, you're good.
You're
good. Thanks. Lionel Galloway, you got 5 minutes.
All right. Hi. How's everyone doing? I'm Lionel Galloway. Thanks for having me here. So let's get the promise thing out the way. So I promised to resign, but I promised that once I get on the board, if we could do it tonight, to put a motion in place that will guarantee that I will resign and have a temporary status as a board member for the election, right? So let's get that out of the way. My background is conflict resolution. I've been working with the same company for 12 years. Right now, I currently run the Western North America region, so that's Canada, the United States, and have distributors in Mexico. And I work for a medical supply company. All right, get the mic. Can everyone hear me now? Okay. Oh, the mic's not good? Okay. All right, so I've been managing West North America for the last 11 years, doing sales, contracting, conflict resolution. I am a Air Force reservist. I have 13 years in the Air Force. So I know what it's like to do a lot of work and not get a lot of money. So I'm familiar with that.
All right, well, that's exactly this job.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I'm here, my purpose here to run for this is, my goal is to set the stage. I know I'm not going to be here for a long time, till November, but at least we could get the framework in place so that the permanent board can make decisions where they regain your trust. That's my #1 mission, is to make sure that the community has trust in the board and we're operating under your guidance, not operating as a covert mission or some sort of secret operation. My goal also is to make sure that there's complete transparency, and it shouldn't be where you have to ask it. It should be just available to you. It shouldn't be a mystery at all. So for me, my personal background, my house is a little chaotic. I'm a father of 5 kids. I did get my wife's permission before I came up here to volunteer to run for the board. So obviously I already know how to take guidance really well. Yeah, so, and I believe in efficiency. So I believe that if you have a properly run organization, people should not be spending long hours at night killing themselves to take on a mission for 5 other folks. The organization should be spread out so that everybody handles small responsibilities so we can operate quickly and easily. I know that hasn't happened in the past. I know there's been some issues with legal concerns and looking at contracts. We will get to those as we go through with the board. And I expect that everyone be patient with us, you know, if you elect me. And we will make sure that we march at a slow drum beat, because my impression of the past has been when I came to these meetings, everyone was in a rush to make decisions that had high financial consequence. And I think it's time to slow things down and examine it, get multiple bids, get multiple input for directions. And I think everyone will be happy with the direction that the board takes going forward. So that's me. And I hope you guys vote for me. Take care.
Marc Rauch, you have 5 minutes.
Hello, I'm Marc Rauch. Some of you know me already. Some of you read some of my things. I wanted to start. Firstly, my wife, Debbie. Some of you don't know her. You've seen her around the pool, but you haven't seen her with me. She is not my better half. She's my better 92%, 95%. But I received some unbelievable information just a little while ago, email. I wanted to share it with everybody. There's a new process around that guarantees that I can have my hair restored by this summer. So, I mean, that's big. That's big news.
That helps.
I'm 66 years old. I've been in business for 46 years, mostly companies that I have owned or been a part owner in. I've worked for a few other companies, but I've always been in management. However, I'm a very hands-on guy, as you can tell by working with the cameras. I am a television producer, a director, a writer, an investigative journalist, and I try to make the oil industry I try to make it a living nightmare for the oil industry. I'm very heavily involved in alternative fuels. I guarantee that I won't hang into the position should I be elected appointed. And in fact, a little bit like Gary, I prepared something, and I'm going to read it. Stated today, April 25th. It says, I, Marc J. Rauch, if elected/appointed to the position on the Board of Directors, pursuant to the meeting held today in the clubhouse, promise to pay to the Anatolia Homeowners Association $10,000 if I don't resign my position as member of the Board of Directors upon announcement of the winners of the true election, right? The payment would be for the privilege of remaining on the board. So if I lied, right, I stay on, it would be for the privilege of remaining on the board. Should I choose not to resign, I agree to pay the $10,000 within 30 days of the announcement of the election winners. This agreement is not being entered into under duress, but in good faith to my friends and neighbors in the Anatolia community of Rancho Cordova, California, who would be entrusting me with this position. And I'll sign it really quickly right now. Right? So I have a really good vested interest to get out. Okay. I've made 10 other copies in case anybody else, my fellow runners, want to sign. Gary, you don't have to. I like your thing. We've heard the term, Bruce has used the term a corporation, right? Well, like a corporation, we are all partners. We are all equal partners. I'm not better than you. You're not better than me. We all are equal partners. You treat your equal partners like equal partners. So you reveal everything. You talk about everything. I see no reason whatsoever to hold any information back. I think it's absolutely insane what went on and the way they conducted themselves. To not want to talk about things, not want to tell us, oh, how did how did it happen that she was disqualified in this? No, we got to tell everything. We are all friends. We are all partners. Now, the problem with being a corporation is, it's a corporation, right? Well, we're not, so from that standpoint, we're a community. We're neighbors. Willie said something fantastic, as she always does, and that is that we now have come together, we're friends and all that stuff. To me, every single board meeting should be business, but it also should be like a party. It should be everybody comes to the meeting because it's going to be fun. It's not going to be a bad thing, it's going to be great fun. Okay, so I suggest not transparent, I don't even want to use the word transparent, I want to say we just tell everything. We share all information. Okay. I don't really want to be on the board. I told people this, Tom, remember I said, right? I'm Spartacus, right? I don't really want to be on the board. So, if you like what I say, if you like what I've been writing about, and you hear this from same kind of things from the other people, then please vote for them, okay? And if it worse comes to worse, and you say, you do it, and then Craig says, all right, Mark, okay, come on. So then I'll do it. But, $10,000, and I ain't giving away $10,000 that easy. So that's it. Thank you very much. 5 minutes? Good. Bye. Thank you.
Amar, Hariharan, you have 5 minutes.
So real quick, I have a quick handout to give. So, sorry about the small print. Can you just separate it wrong? All right. Can I? All right. Hello. My name is Amar Hariharan. I've been in this community since 2006. I was one of the original homeowners here. I have seen this community totally transform over the economic downturns, right? People have abandoned their homes, and I've seen the whole demographic of this community change. But I have an emotional attachment towards this community because this is the first and only home that I have bought. And my first and only daughter was born in this community, in this house. So I didn't feel the need to abandon my community here and buy a house elsewhere. I have not been very involved in this community till some time ago, just like many of us here, right? But when I saw the post that Craig posted, I felt the need to get involved. And when I get involved, I really get involved, right? So I went knocking door to door, educating people about the problems that are happening. And I brought them in to many of the meetings here. Now, a little bit about my professional background. I work for the state of California. And as I believe Lionel was saying that he doesn't get paid, for those who know the pay structure of state of California, you know what I'm talking about. We don't get paid either, right? So I was a management consultant before I joined the state of California. And one of my primary skill set is putting out fires in projects. So whenever there is a problem with any of my client, whatever it be, the project is not going as planned, there are financial issues or there are personnel issues, Amar, get there, fix the problem. So that is what I do for a living. I have an MBA and a Project Management Institute certification. I also have a background in finance, so I know what auditing is. I have lived through audits. I have conducted audits. Right? When I see the books of accounts, I know exactly what to look for, where the problems are. I also, in my current job, I do project oversight for the state of California. And working for the state, it is like an open book. We are all talking about transparency, right? Whatever I do is constantly scrutinized in the media. If I make a mistake, SAGB is on my back, right? And I lived through that. I have given numerous, there are a few interviews of mine in TechWire. You can go and take a look. I've been awarded by the state of California for my leadership. Now, what do I bring to this community is to ensure that whatever problems that we have heard of over the last month or so, it can be analytically solved. Right? We can sit down and figure, let's say if it is a contract, we can sit down and figure the contracts out. That is, again, what I do for the state. I analyze contract in competitive bidding. We go out for procurements and we get multiple bids and we choose the best value for money. We don't necessarily go for the lowest cost, but the best value for money, right? That is what I promise to bring in here. One of the other things, again, it goes without saying that I am going to resign. It is a totally temporary post. It is for the interim HOA board, right? One of the things that I also promise, along with my resignation, is whether I get elected or not today, it doesn't matter. I will work with whoever gets elected today, okay, and help them solve the problems that plague our community. I have had interactions with everyone, almost everyone whose name is in there. I know most of you personally. I know everyone is passionate about solving our community's problem. So that is my promise, that I will stand by you. You can put me in a financial committee, you can put me in an audit committee. You want me to knock door to door, educating people, I will do that. Okay? That is my promise. Thank you.
So I want to make sure you have a chance to read that. I think you made some of the points, but would you just read it clearly? You feel he said these things?
Yes. Thank you.
Rachel Escamilla, you have 5 minutes. Okay, Marc, you left this up.
Hi, everybody. I'm just going to project because I have a pretty loud voice anyway. I think Craig knows that. He's heard me. My name's Rachel Escamilla, and I live in the Villas, which is kind of a little special niche out there that we pay more for our dues than everybody else does because we get gardening service. And I've lived here since 2011, and little by little I've seen the things that have gone on here. My background, I've worked for 40 years, but my background has been in operations and assessing operations that are failing and making determinations whether we close them or we work on making them better. And essentially, my position is when something isn't working, we need to find another solution to change it and make it better. And I've been coming to these meetings for a few years, and at one point I got a little frustrated and stopped coming. But what I've seen now with this renewed participation that we have is we need people that are going to be committed to trying to make this better. And if elected, that's my promise, is I'll do everything I can to listen to what people want and try to assist in finding solutions to make things better and improve this clubhouse, improve our environment. whether it means that we reduce the HOA fees when we pay this off, whatever it is, we work as a team. And that doesn't just include the board, that includes all of us. So the more you participate in that, the more input we have to make knowledgeable decisions. And if I were elected, I would promise to only stay on a temporary basis. I mean, once the elections are up people are up for election, and I think there's really a lot of great candidates. And whoever it is, for me, I want to support that so that we can start seeing things getting done. Because that's really kind of what I'm about. I like to see, I don't like to hear talk. I want to see it get done. I want to see this clubhouse painted. I want to see those chairs fixed. I want to see that pool looking better. And I want to see that fountain being drained before the mosquitoes start eating everybody up. And that's not a big deal. That could have been going on a month ago. We just need to stop the talking and start the doing. And so, I'm really hoping whoever we get, I have background in finance too, and I'm also an advocate for the state. So I advocate for my people. You're my people. We all lived here. I have never met so many wonderful people in my life until I moved to this community. And I want to keep it that way. I want it to be people of integrity and honesty, and where we support one another, whether it's here or whether it's when you need something and you need help. So, again, if you vote for me, then I'll just try my best to keep my ears open and do as much as I can to make the changes that we need and, get our finances together. So that if you ask me, how much do we have in the bank? I can tell you that. It's not I don't know. We should never not be able to tell our members how much we have in the bank and what's on the table of being done. So thank you for your time.
Thanks, Rachel.
You're welcome, Craig.
I didn't hear you say that.
Oh, okay. So one of the promises was, my promise is the proof is in the pudding, okay? So that's my promise. And what that means is that you get her done. You don't have to talk about it, just do it. So, thank you.
Shailendra Sharma, you have 5 minutes.
Hey, this is Shailendra Sharma. I promise not to run for the main election. I just wanted to, I'm very excited for all of us and the way we are fired up for the change in community. And like someone said, this is also my first house on my own my income. And I love this house. And this is not a home, it's really a house. And first time when I came to know about Anatolia, I worked for Intel for like 12, 13 years. And out of my 16 years professional career, I have masters. We came here for an event from our company. And I really thought it's some resort we came, because I haven't seen the community, but we directly came to the clubhouse. It was really nice and all those things. And that day I decided, okay, I'm going to go to Anatolia. When I bought the house in Anatolia, everyone said, hey, why you're not buying in Folsom? Because you work in Folsom. Probably because you're going there because houses are cheaper here, right? I hated that argument, and I still hate that argument. We want to increase the values of our house. We want to not only, like I said, this is my house, right? So I have all the emotions like all of us have with this house or with your house. So I'm going to directly go to my promises. Experience-wise, no, I don't have any experience, literally. And I don't think being a homeowner itself is a big experience. And having a fire and to do things is an experience. And if you seen my post in Anatolia, I'm active there. And I used to raise concern about the air quality and so many things. So I'm actively involved there. I feel like it's my responsibility to at least respond to those posts where I have some input. Anyway, so first promise, I will make sure every homeowner's, every question and concern will be heard and everything will be transparent. I know we will have HOA meeting, like board of directors meetings, but I want all of people to attend those meetings. If legally permitted, I don't want those meetings to just be 3 people or 5 people in a closed room. Everything should be heard. Okay, so that's my promise. Everything will be transparent, good or bad. We don't want to run Anatolia. I want everyone from Anatolia to run the board. Even we are there. You guide us, like someone said. You guide us. Yes, there is a bylaws, okay, but we want to follow what you think, okay, within the limit of the bylaws. So that's my another promise. So again. I promise that, and again, I'm saying I'm not running for the next election. This is just because everyone is fired up. I want to also make sure we are on the right foot going forward, okay? When we have our full representation as a 5 board members, we get to that point properly. So my another promise is for every response, every question, every concern you bring on the next door, you bring to this office here, front door, right, or to the board meeting, everything will be a SLA. We call system level agreement, right, in our technical terms. We will give you response time of less than 1 day. We will respond to you, literally, we will respond to you what we can do or what we are doing or work in progress, but we will not let you wait for just get an answer. What is someone hearing about my concern? Is someone looking at my concern? No, we will promise, I will promise, I cannot promise for others, but I will promise that, we will make sure your issue is heard and at least you know what's going on with your issue, okay? And we will definitely ask everyone to attend every meeting. Nothing will be in closed doors, okay? Definitely the meetings, again, another thing with the transparency, either through the next door or the emails, whatever we will decide through our HOA board or Anatolia website, everything will be transparent, everything will be posted, every meeting minutes will be posted. Same thing with the finance. We pay the money. I'm not talking, someone said here we should increase the HOA value, okay, HOA charges, right? If I make $1, that dollar is worth because I work for that dollar. Right? So it doesn't matter it's $1, it's at $115 or $200. My every single dollar is worth. And I want to make sure my every dollar is spent and used properly. And it's not closed behind the door. Everything should be in public. And also, say, if I'm not a finance guy, I don't want everyone to be a finance guy, but if you need any finance help, if you need understanding those complicated 5-page, 10-page letter you get in your email about finance budget and all those things, please come to us and we will explain you everything. So you have right to know everything, every expense, everything, inventory, everything, bring it up. Okay, so sorry my time is up, but that's what, so at the end I want to say, we are talking about problems and I'm here to talk about solutions. And everything will,
Deborah Payne, you have 5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes. I did bring some written comments, if you want to pass that around. So I only brought 32 copies, but if you can kind of share them, that kind of thing, or if you want another copy, I can email them to you. I'm new to Anatolia. I moved here in December of 2016. I bought Dave Anderson's house, if anybody knew him. And I was so impressed because, one, my grandsons go to the brand new school. My daughter and son-in-law live in Cavala Ranch. So when I was going to buy a house here, I made a circle of walking distance to the school and looked at every one of those houses. I bought the best house on the block, I think. It's a beautiful neighborhood. The clubhouse is amazing. I came from Midtown. And I still own a house there at the Metro Square. If anybody knows where Metro Square is, at 26th and 27th, H&I. So I served on that board for 2 terms. In the beginning, when there were huge problems, everybody showed up for the board meetings. But of course, we then worked on solving those problems. And what is really impressive here is all the people that we've heard from tonight. I mean, we really have some talent here. And we had talent at Metro Square as well. And we had huge problems. We had the trees. We had policies that we needed to develop, and we got it done. So I think that these problems can be solved as well. What made me interested in applying was every time I read something on Nextdoor, I said, I think I maybe could give some input on a great way to solve that. It seems to me what I read about the old management association was it was the tail wagging the dog. We're the dog. We tell them what to do and what to accomplish, and there needs to be accountability. So as you'll see on the paper, I've spent 20 years building collaborations to solve problems. I've worked with former foster youth aging out of care, solved a lot of problems there. I've worked with putting together tot lots. I used to work for First 5 Sacramento. I was a program planner for them for 15 years. And we built 23 tot lots to improve the community. I worked with parks and recreation districts, city councils. I reported regularly to the Board of Supervisors, and I still do. Managed $46 million in funds every year. And not only put together an RFP, put together review teams, and then once the contracts were in place, I monitored those contracts and made sure that they were meeting their scope of work and meeting their milestones. If they weren't meeting their milestones, providing technical assistance to ensure that that contract got carried out, and I've even canceled contracts. Not a fun process, but it can be done. It needs to be done if people are not meeting what they're supposed to. I've spent a lot of time collaborating and community building, and what impresses me here tonight is the community building that's happened. People are getting to know each other, they're volunteering to do things. Every time I come to a meeting, I meet somebody or more than one person new, and I want to continue that. That is, I promise to work together with everyone, to listen, and bring it to the board, make sure that we solve something. You'll see on my written comments there at the bottom, I said that it's a temporary position. When a full board is elected, I will step down, no problem. Actually, that is part of the appeal, is to jump in there, fix the problems, and then hand it off to a full board when we have a chance to really vet those people. So, yes, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Deborah.
Yes, you're welcome.
Alfred Allen, you have 5 minutes.
That was a long wait, but at any rate. Okay, my name is Alfred Allen. Briefly, to really quick speed this 5-minute thing up, I'm a veteran from the United States Army. I was a military police during my stint in the military. I currently now work for the federal government, which is Social Security. I'm a claims specialist, so I deal with people's lives every day in regards to their benefits and whatever the case may be. Quickly, let me get out of the way the promise thing. The promise thing is this. My thing with the promise is a little different. I promise that if I'm elected to this committee, I'm going to be very committed into making sure that things are where they need to be. Things are beneficial to our children and to the welfare of our children coming to swim and the surroundings around. In regards to, yes, if I feel that there's a system in place, I have no problem with stepping down. I have no problem with saying, okay, everything is okay. But if that's not the case, then I have a problem, okay? My thing is,
a lot of people talked about how long they lived in this community and whatever. To me, that really don't make a big difference to me, because I don't care if you bought your property here a year ago or 10 years ago. You still have the right to maintain and have the things that's supposed to benefit you and your children and your spouses, livelihoods, safety, and everything else. Like I say, around my house or whatever, we got ducks running around and that's great. But you know what? Same ducks in that pond causes rats. Rats crawled up in my attic and chewed through, because we don't have, like when I grew up in 1970, in the 70s, copper. We have the little plastic pipes now. So one chewed through it, okay? In the middle of the night. Flooded my bathroom. I had to call somebody at 3 o'clock in the morning. That cost me $1,300 to get that prepared. Could I call the homeowner association and say, hey, this is what happened, because that ambiance is great that you got these ducks or whatever? No, I can't. And I wasn't mad about it, because that's what I bought into, the ambiance. But what I did not buy into is the things that's supposed to come with your regular mortgage and your homeowners association, the things that's supposed to be protected by you. So what I'm saying is, we need to get together and make sure that we are being protected by the very thing that we pay for. If I get a $300 PG&E bill, and my PG&E bill has been average $100, I got a problem. I'm going to contact them and find out what's the problem. My whole point is, it's the same thing. We bought into this community. We're supposed to get what we paid for. And that's what we all have to stick together and do. My point is, at the end of this discussion, I don't know if you need this or if you got a copy, but my whole point is, we have to get together and make sure, whether it's not one of us, that whatever that committee is here for us. I am taking care of 3 grandchildren. I'm 56 years old. My kids is grown, but unfortunately, I became a parent over again. I got a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 1-year-old. This is the community they're gonna grow up in. But what I won't do, and I would not tolerate, is what I paid for being stripped, and then they can't even go to a pool, and I'm paying for stuff like that. We have to get together and fix this.
Thank you. Oh. Philip Ditch, you have 5 minutes.
Hi everyone, my name is Philip Ditch. I want to thank you all, the 10 candidates. I feel more comfortable now from the March 8th meeting when I attended and started that revolution that allow us to be here now. And I appreciate everybody else's effort. But as for myself, I've been here since 2007 to January, so a little bit over 11 years. I bought here with the same promises as Mr. Allen of Rayleigh, Safeway, rendering plant's going to move, etc. So I trusted the people. So I brought in, unfortunately, the housing bubble popped. Everything went downhill. And I saw neighbors move, new neighbors come in, even a squatter 2 houses down from my house. But I overlooked that because I love the community. All my 3 kids have been raised here, born here, and I want them to grow here. And a lot of the stuff is, it's that passion of meeting new people, and look how diverse we are here. And that's part of learning the community, and for me, I enjoy that. So I have 3 kids, 10, 8, and 3. My wife, Daniela Sam, she's the local pharmacist at Walgreens on Hariharan Way. But the thing of that is we're committed to this community. As a little bit as myself, I have a degree from Sac State, kinesiology and business administration. So a lot of that allowed me to kind of learn how to communicate effectively through writing, speaking, and even listening. That's very important to listen to everybody. My work experience, I've worked with the state of California for 16 years. So I've been an analyst, project manager. I've worked as a compliance representative, working with audit to look at financial statements, working with CPAs, attorneys, work on big $1 million projects. For myself, I created a little roadmap and it kind of allow a little bit of accountability if I am appointed and you guys suggest me to be appointed, accountability of how our performance that's going to be with dates and stuff like that, and kind of a roadmap of how we can build as a community with committees, how we can learn each other and kind of and grow with each other. And a lot of people talk about questions will be answered in one day, but if this process, if the board works what they're supposed to do, there won't be a lot of questions. There's going to be a lot of trust that we're going to have the best interest of you guys. And there will be where they're going to be at the point where, you know what, I trust Craig to do what's right for us, so let's just go with him. And that won't just come because I say so, it's going to come from because of what we're going to do. So with that, I've created a roadmap. I didn't create any copies because I thought I was going to have time to talk about it. But unfortunately, I'll leave it with Craig, or I could email it. And it
post it on next week.
Right, and it defines like some of the process improvements that I have ideas on, like some of the like violation processes. Can we police ourselves, or do we have to hire someone? And some of the like, you know, working with the delegates to kind of solicit problems or prioritize what our priorities are. Is it the pool? Is it areas and stuff? And kind of identify those risks. Is it a safety hazard? Is it, you know, just stuff like that that's important to prioritize to make number one, and work with Bruce to kind of look at these contracts or look at these, are these going to be lawsuit-ridden areas that we should fix first so we could avoid some of these lawsuits. And those are the things that I kind of created roadmaps on and kind of define the communities to kind of help everybody be on and help each other and kind of have that diversity come together and kind of understand each other. Because a lot of times I read on Nextdoor, one person misunderstands another person's ideas and they go back and forth, and I think that's not healthy. I mean, it's great that everyone has their own opinion and we should respect that. And for myself, I promise, kind of like Lionel, I want to create a framework and a base for the next board that comes on where they could just come right in and start running with the process. And the same thing with Amar. Even if I'm not appointed, I'm going to try whatever way I can to try to help get that process going and kind of make them accountable and be transparent to everybody else. And I promise to quit, and this will be a temporary position.
All right, my friends.
This is our moment.
Marc, can you step beside the mic?
Step up to the mic.
Marc. Can you speak on the mic?
Thanks. Mr. Larson?
Again, Dan Larson, I just have one question before anybody who leaves who are nominated for the board or want to get nominated. Are any of the nominees on the list here, would they be interested in a full-time position on the board? If this one, I like a lot what I hear. I like a lot of people also to sit there and do the temporary, but again, also come forward and volunteer again and continue what they started.
Well, they'll have the opportunity to run for election, which I think gets you.
My personal style, I want to know, are any of these people here willing to do that?
Well,
Raise your hand if you are, just so everybody else knows that you may be willing to do that. That's a great way to do that. That's all I wanted to mention.
okay.
Smart man.
So, folks, this moment right now, we've been waiting for so many years. This is what I was expecting when I was asked to join the board in December of 2006. We didn't get what I was expecting. I cannot tell you how many times I've come home 9:30, 10:30 at night, so frustrated by what's going on the board of directors of this neighborhood that I call home. and where I'm raising children to be so frustrated with how things have been going. You can imagine how many times I've come this close to throwing in the towel. I did not do that. Why? Because I have faith in everybody in this room, not just individually, but collectively. Look what we've done here tonight already, even before we get to the result. This is community. This is what Anatolia can and should stand for. This is us. I want to tip my hat to these 11 people for having the guts to stand up here and make promises and making themselves vulnerable to everybody. Get used to it. Get used to it. There is plenty about board service that's not glamorous. There is plenty that is a lot of work. I have much more shelf space in my house devoted to HOA materials than I ever thought I would have. It is a lot of drudgery. And if anyone thinks it's glamorous, get out now. You have millions of dollars of other people's money in your hands. If that makes you feel good, maybe you're not approaching this for the right reasons. That should make you feel vulnerable because you have responsibilities that people will hold you accountable for. And they should and they will. I should be accountable for all the decisions I've made. You should hold me accountable for those. The people who are going to be joining the board tonight should be held accountable as well. Don't be bashful about holding them accountable. I kind of think you won't be bashful, and that's a great thing. So, process. We've come to the end of Meet the Candidates. Next step is input from all owners present. All owners in Anatolia have an opportunity to give input on which candidates we most want for our board of directors. Tonight's meeting notice was mailed to all owners of record on April 18th by U.S. mail and was posted the same day on our clubhouse bulletin boards and our website, www.anatoliahoa.org. Click on HOA board. By the way, it should be going live with our permanent website very shortly. I had a meeting scheduled this morning with the web developer to see if we could end up to go live. As you know, it's a temporary website. Turns out I got pulled away for other things, HOA related, didn't get to have that meeting. So the website right now is still temporary. It should be going live, hopefully within a few days, if we can get to that spot. Questions by owners to candidates A, B, and C. Let's take a quick time check. I see a lot of people in the room. My watch says 9:18. How do you want to do this? I could easily see 5, 6, 7 hours worth of conversation here. I don't want 5, 6, 7 hours worth of conversation here. So right now we can already see there are going to be quite a few people who will be very upset that they didn't get their question answered. Or excuse me, they didn't even get their question asked. We've all seen people holding their arms up for a long, long time, getting very frustrated. Let's think now about how we're going to deal with that, because it's pretty obvious we're going to have 50 to 60 of those very shortly in a few minutes. Community?
Is there a way to hold another meeting or some way to ask questions?
Good question, and I think I heard the answer. How do you think about that?
Yeah.
All right, I'm hearing you. Come on up.
I am a problem solver. I don't complain. I go with mitigations to risks. So when my manager asks me as to, hey, we are having this particular risk in this problem, or this issue has come up, I would have thought about 3 steps ahead and come up with some possible solutions and present it to them so that my manager can, kind of make an informed decision to mitigate that risk. So that is kind of my perspective.
Okay, let's move on.
So I don't know how much people know me, but I'm pretty much active with the community the way we can right now. Mostly it was next door or meetings, but definitely we all have jobs, so sometimes we cannot come to the meetings. But yeah, definitely I'm kind of both problem solver and sometimes complainer also. If there's an issue, someone has to raise it. So I think we need a mix of both. So, but definitely I have been, not here, but Air Resource Board knows me a lot. I have filed like 20 times complaints about the air quality. And I gave up. I was shot down so many times on the next door group that, we should not talk about it because some of the Anatolia residents, they work there or whatever reason. But, definitely I'm open to questions and I'm a people person. That's what I know. My manager asked me today, do you want to be a manager? There's a post open. I said, I don't think I'm a manager, but I'm good with the people. I can talk to the people, I can listen to them, and then I can, so that's what I have to say.
If we go 1 to 2 minutes per, that's 11 to 22 minutes.
Okay, I'll go fast.
Sorry, let's go with 1.
1 minute. Said tonight, let's do it.
1 minute. Should be enough. Yes, so I'm not that well known because, as I said, I'm new, but I think I bring new energy as well. And I've met some people at school because I'm there every day picking up my grandsons at 3:15, and they come home to Grandma's house. This is my home. Metro Square Board asked me to come back and be on the board. I said, if I'm going to be on the board any place, it'll be at Anatolia. This is my home. So, and I walk the neighborhoods with my grandsons, I see the problems, and I'd like to fix them and have them look as pretty as the pictures that the realtors use. So I'm a problem solver. We didn't have dental clinics for kids. We now have 6 clinics operational that accept Medi-Cal. That's a huge problem solved. There's like the 23 tot lots that I talked about, working with Parks and Rec districts. I know how to work and present to the Board of Supervisors, to other city council members. I know some of them personally. Okay, so I'm a problem solver.
I think that a lot of people here know me. They've seen me over the last 12 years that I've lived here. I think a lot of you have entrusted your children with me for a very long time. To have them listen, discipline, do a lot of push-ups. And so I think that I'm well known in the community. I think I'm not a complainer. I think I'm a problem identifier. I have creative solutions and ideas, and I don't ever shoot anybody else's idea down. I think that we can work together and come up with something that's creative, but I always have an opinion of how I think, my opinion, obviously, how it is, but we always go back and forth and we always come to the best solution. But I get along with everybody, mostly. So everybody here that knows me, I'm pretty sure would say that. So that's it.
If it's beyond my control, I love to complain. However, if I do complain, I try to provide solutions. And solution that will mitigate future problems. At the same time, I'm open-minded to other people's ideas and see if we can collaborate and incorporate things that can satisfy both parties. So I believe I'm both, but at the same time, I just not complain without providing a couple of solutions with that.
I think I'm a little bit of both. I think that I'm more of a troubleshooter, and if I find that there's issues, then I want to bring it to the forefront so that we can find those solutions for those problems. I've worked on a couple committees, but the one that I'm really kind of proud of is the villas, because we have that connection of having landscaping that we pay for. And we have a lot of issues of our own there with the trees and with the lawns and with what's being done and the garbage cans. And I was asked by one of my fellow homeowners to sit or to create a committee. Greg Douglas had asked me, and we did that, and we were able to get a number of things done in a very short period of time. But it required that we had to bring things to the forefront. So I'm both. I'd say I'm both.
All right, everyone, I am an understander. So normally when information comes to me, I have to kind of ask again to get clarification to make sure I understand. So I seek first to understand. Then I try to problem solve. Don't really complain. I call it awareness. Just try to bring awareness to everyone so they understand what's happening. Sometimes you got to be the squeaky wheel. So if that's called a complaint, then I'm guilty of that. So.
I like that life.
Gary Brewer, in case you've forgotten the last 3 hours. I'm not really very well known in the community, despite living here nearly 10 years. I'm much more of a listener than I am a talker. I'm much more of an analyst, getting to understand stuff. If you read the 20,000-word treatise that I put on next door about the contract that we've just entered into, then you see how I pick things apart and try to understand the components and try to suggest a solution going forward. But I'm not a complainer. I'm not going to bring something up and just leave it at that without working toward a solution.
I'm probably part of both. I've been sitting in my house doing nothing. I didn't even come up to the meetings. I didn't have time when I was working. But once I came to the meeting in October and discovered a lot of things that I did not like, I decided to start coming, and I'm very outspoken, and I'm the type of person, I think outside the box. And I want to follow, I'm very analytical. I'm the type of person you can come to, and we can solve a problem because we can solve it together. People that work with me know me. You can trust me. And I think that all we need to do is to work together as a team, because that's what we are. We are family out here. And this has turned out to be a beautiful experience for me. And I'm glad I came out of my house and came up here and started working.
We're glad you did too,
Thank you.
Well, on the complaint side, I fired the board.
Not the whole board.
No, we didn't.
I fired the board. On the solution side, I spearheaded the petition drive. With 1 month, 2 days, we got everybody to resign. So that was pretty good. Almost over, not quite, right.
We tried.
Well, he didn't have to because he's up for a re-election anyway. But, you know, look, he's great. He's great. She's great. She's wonderful. He's fantastic. She's unbelievable. He's tremendous. He's tremendous. Willie, this is my mother. I swear this is my mother. I'm sorry. Where's Ernest? I'm sorry, Ernest. This is my mother. This guy, never met him before. I like him. Ditto everything this guy said. What can I say? They're great. They're great. 11-member board. That's what we should have. Right? 10, 11-member board. Unbelievable.
All right, again, my name is Alfred Allen. Well, unlike some of my predecessors, I'm not going to say I'm this or that. I can tell you I'm a complainer. I'm a 100% complainer. In my life and everything that I've done, that's what I've been dealing with. I've been dealing with problems, and if you deal with problems, then there's a complaint. Also, earlier I talked about what my back experience is, but I'm also a union rep, so I can guarantee you that same pamphlet book that we all got when we purchased these houses, my pamphlet as being a union rep for the United States federal government for 18 years is twice that size. And I almost know just about every stipulation and every article in that to protect the employees that I have to protect. So what I mean about that is, yes, I'm a complainer, but I have issues. And I take care of the issues based on those complaints.
So we'd like to set a time to end, like
10 o'clock.
Then go till 10 o'clock.
15 minutes, let's get on with it.
Yeah, it's 15 minutes.
30-second response time.
Shorten the response.
30-second response time at max. Yeah.
So,
Answer the question.
let's set a goal.
9:45.
Okay, by show of hands, it's either 9:45 or 10 o'clock. How many 9:45s? All right. There's an important thing that we need to cover. If you would please look in your packet, there's a page from our bylaws that speaks to president, vice president, secretary, and CFO. As you've heard, tonight, as soon as we do the appointments, the three of us together are going to choose who is going to be in which of those roles. I anticipate that we will not have a vice president. I anticipate that we will choose a president, a secretary, and a CFO. I'm going to ask that all of the candidates read quickly those descriptions and decide, are you willing to be president? Are you willing to be secretary? Are you willing to be CFO? And I'm going to put up here next to each person which roles you're willing to play. Because if we only have, let's say, one who's willing to be CFO, that's important for us all to know, right?
We need to do what now? There is something that we need to sign or something?
It's there. Share with him so he can read it too.
Frank.
I'm sorry?
Craig,
I'm not being nominated.
Craig, I have a suggestion.
Is there a reason why you're saying this wouldn't be the case? You wouldn't think this? I'm saying whether or not we're back. That all gets decided by the
So if I said these two people, and neither one wants to be secretary, it'd be a problem. Okay. Are you willing to be president?
I'm willing, yeah.
Craig. Craig, are you willing to be secretary?
भैया बाद में जाना
Chief Financial Officer.
Can I say something here?
Go for all
I
things.
thought,
Hey folks, let's have one conversation. Let's have one conversation.
the process as I understood it was that the board gets elected and then we take our seats after we're elected.
Correct, but I've got to choose two people. If I choose two people without knowing who's willing to fill these roles, we could be left without a secretary. We do not want to be left without a secretary. We could be left without a CFO. We do not want to be left without a CFO. So I will need to know before I make my choice.
Do it later on.
We cannot do it later on.
Okay, is the question, are we willing to fill any seat that's available?
Yeah, we will do it.
Yes.
We will miss. We don't have to do this.
All right, folks. Okay, done. Stop. Please.
Put your voice out.
Good.
Folks, I'm not going to shout people down, but I'm asking, this is an important process. Please be respectful for this process. The process needs to work for you, for me, for everyone. Let's respect it. Now, we have a few minutes left. We said 9:45, it's 9:36 on my watch. We have 9 minutes. What's our best use of these 9 minutes?
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. 'Cause
Go.
we keep going around in circles, but if those are the 11 folks that we've already said, yeah, they put their names in, you're doing the action. You're actually the one that's going to be saying,
Right.
these are the folks I want.
Right.
What are we asking questions for? Yeah, because we're going to wait till
Let's vote.
All right.
Candidate should go.
Thank you for the offer. Hold on. Folks.
He's appointing officially, and you guys are making the suggestion.
All right, so we're making a vote.
Yes. Folks,
Okay, just want to make sure.
it's important that we not leave anyone with the impression that this is voted.
The mic.
This is not. Sorry.
See, look, there's one thing.
We all heard from the HOA's attorney that this is not a vote.
Let's not get semantic. They're voting for the suggestion.
Is what he has on here.
Right. Right. So as I promised, I'm going to listen to the input that I hear from people tonight. Let's do this. If each one of us could decide maybe 4 people that you most support, then I'm going to ask by show of hands. I'm going to go down the names, starting with number 1 to number 11. We may ask the candidates kindly if they would wish to close their eyes.
Or turn around.
Outside.
We'll turn around. We'll just turn around.
No, candidates needs to go out.
Hey, folks, come on.
So when we all vote, we all said each other.
Folks, we're losing our 9 minutes, guys. So, really quick.
There'll be a problem in how you're suggesting how to vote. By show of hands, how will you tell how many times people can show of hands for a specific?
This is going to be the honor system. I'm asking you, please,
Yeah.
pick 4 names that you most would like to see. I'm going to read them off slowly. Let's say, I'm not going to look at the name. Let's say you pick 1, 5, 7, and 9. Then when I say name 1, please put your hand up. When I say name 2, put your hand down. And when I get to the 1. Is that, do people understand what I'm saying? Okay. Okay, pick 4.
Can we suggest this? Rather than we can get a little bit paper.
I want to, no, we're not going to do that. Yeah. Can you guys arrange yourselves in the numerical order? So, 1, Christy, Gary. It's got to be quick. Okay, by show of hands, folks, by show of hands, this is going to be, would you like to ask them to step out or not? Would you like to ask them to step out?
Yes.
Would you like to not ask them to step out? Okay, let them stay. People said no. We're not going to ask them to step out. Go, quick.
I would like to make a recommendation based on what you said.
Quickly.
5 people, and then you can pick 3 of the 5. And that's why they get the
All right. We've set the process. Please pick 4 names. Are you guys standing in order?
We are.
Okay. So we're going to start here with Christy. We're going to go down. And 4, please. 4, please. This is honor system. This is not an election with the inspector of elections checking your residency. This is honor system. Is everyone ready? Okay, and we're not counting. I'm just looking. Okay. Number 1, Christy O'Brien. Thank you. Number 2, Gary Brewer. Thank you. Number 3, Willie Marshall. Thank you. Number 4, Lionel Galloway. Thank you. Number 5, Marc Rauch. This is going to be hard, you guys. Hold them high. Number 6, Amar Hariharan. Down, please. Number 7, Rachel Escamilla. Number 8, Shailendra Sharma. Number 9, Deborah Payne. Number 10, Alfred Allen. Number 11, Philip Ditch. Yes. Thank you, folks. Thank you, everyone. We also heard Bruce say that there are 2 kinds of appointments here. One is going to be an appointment that, help me out here, does not expire automatically at the election, and a second one that does automatically expire at the election. All right. Did I get that right? All right.
Except that everybody swore that they would resign. Right. So it's irrelevant, with the exception of Alfred, but he explained that.
Folks, for the position that does not...
Thank you. Craig, I was talking to Bruce, and he said if you point out that you're appointing for Bill's position was one of them expired, that would make it very clear that this is the position.
Thank you. I spoke with him too. I'm going to appoint to the position that does not expire and the position that does expire. This is my duty. This is my duty. To the position that does not expire, I appoint Marc Rauch.
Yes.
To the position that does expire, I appoint Amar Hariharan.
Hey, good work, man. Okay, this is all yes.
ఏంది ఇంకొకళ్ళు ఎవరు? Thank you guys.
I don't know why you know, man. I don't know why people are congratulating me.
I'm suspecting you.
Yeah. I hope
folks. We need the $10,000.
I'm here to help. Just if you need help, let me know. Congratulations.
I don't know if it is congratulations that I need. Thank you, Christine. Thank you so much.
I'm here to work with you. Okay?
Absolutely. That is what I'm going to like tap into everyone. Thank you, Satish. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good, Jack. Good. Very nice one.